What if I told you the secret to winning any argument, to commanding respect in any room, has nothing to do with what you say? Seriously, what if the real power lies in what you don't say? We're about to dive into a really powerful, kind of paradoxical idea, the art of sovereign silence.
You know that exact feeling, right? That horrible knot in your stomach. You're just emotionally drained. You've spent all this energy trying to get someone, anyone, to understand where you're coming from. And what happens? You end up feeling even more misunderstood than when you started. It's just this awful, exhausting cycle we all get stuck in.
And see, that feeling of defeat, it comes from a huge misunderstanding we've all been sold. We've been conditioned to believe we have to fight for our truth, to defend it, to negotiate its right to exist. But that's a massive illusion. Your truth doesn't need a permission slip from anyone else to be real. It just is.
So today, we're going to pull back the curtain on a habit that seems totally harmless, the constant need to over-explain ourselves. But as you're about to see, this isn't just some personality quirk. It's actually a deep psychic wound that is quietly sabotaging your personal power every single day.
The legendary psychoanalyst Carl Jung even had a way to describe this. He saw it as a symptom of deep self-neglect. Think about it. Every time you feel the need to justify a choice you made, a feeling you have, or even just your mood, you're not just communicating. You are unconsciously begging for permission to exist. You're literally handing over the keys to your own mind.
So where does this all come from? Well, for a lot of us, it starts way back in childhood. If your feelings were ever brushed off as dramatic or just plain wrong, you learned a survival skill pretty fast. Explain yourself perfectly to get accepted. And this is how we start building what Jung called the persona. It's that social mask we wear to fit in. And it works, but it comes at a huge cost, slowly disconnecting us from who we really are.
Okay, but there is a powerful antidote to this. And let me be clear. This is not about being passive or being a doormat. No way. This is about deploying what we're calling sovereign silence, a lethal, super intelligent strategy for taking back your psychological independence and reclaiming your power.
So how do we actually do this? How do we build this skill? Well, it's not just some fuzzy idea. It's a real, actionable method, and it breaks down into 3 very clear steps. Let's walk through them right now so you can literally start practicing this today.
All right, step 1. This is the hardest one. It's what we call the psychic leap. It means you have to choose silence at the exact moment your ego is screaming at you to defend yourself. Every part of you is going to want to jump in, justify, clarify, prove them wrong. But resisting that urge, that is the first real proof that you are no longer under their emotional control. Real strength is holding your vision, even when you're misunderstood.
Now, once you've made that leap into silence, you shift into step 2. You stop being the defendant in the courtroom and you become a psychological surgeon. You stop talking and you start observing. You listen like a hunter, paying attention to what the other person is actually revealing. Your silence, it becomes a mirror, and without your arguments to bounce off of, they are forced to deal with their own internal chaos, their own insecurities.
And that leads us right to step 3. You've got to master the power of the pause. Look, in a world that is just constant noise and reaction, the person who can hold their silence is the one who commands the room. When you stop being an emergency button that people can just press whenever they need validation, you become a mystery. And in that mystery, your authority is born.
So what happens when you actually master this practice? The change isn't just on the outside. It's this deep, profound shift on the inside. You start to build what we call internal authority.
And this chart just lays it out perfectly. You move from that hostage mindset, always worrying, will they get me? Will they understand me? Over to the sovereign mindset, which just calmly knows, this is true for me. You stop being a puppet jerked around by your own reactive emotions, and you become the sovereign commander of your own mind.
Now I know what you might be thinking. There's this fear, right? If I stop explaining myself, I'm gonna lose people. And you know what? You might. But here's the crucial reframe you have to make. You are not losing people, you are filtering them. The people who were only there because you were easy to control or useful to them, they'll naturally fade away. And what you're left with are the people who respect you for you, not for the performance you put on.
So here's the bottom line. After seeing the wound, after seeing the path to healing it, you're at a crossroads. You really are. You have a choice to make, right here, right now. Are you going to keep handing over your power, or are you going to decide to reclaim it?
I want you to make this decision real for yourself. Don't just think about it. Declare it.
Go down to the comments right now and type this out. I choose the silence that commands respect. This isn't just a comment for an algorithm. This is a symbolic act. It's a declaration to yourself that you are ready to be the sovereign center of your own life.
So I'll leave you with one final question to really let sink in. After all this, ask yourself, honestly, who truly holds the keys to your mind? Is it you, or is it the audience you feel you have to constantly perform for? The choice, as it always is yours.